coming up. Um, and he was Mr. April, I believe. And he had a shot of his bathing beauty shot, sort of lying back in the beach and the waves crashing over him, looking very, I don't know, orgasmic maybe, or beatified or something. And some people took offense to that and he caught some flack and it was called Nipplegate. And he, he's caught a little bit of flack for his association with me for some reason. I
Whoa, whoa,
don't.
whoa.
Had you ever have the opportunity to consume the documentary "Who is Vermin Supreme"?
I haven't watched it yet. No, is it something you'd recommend?
I would very much recommend it. It's on Vimeo especially. It's available on other platforms, but there was some bullshit that went down with the distributor. I believe it was bankruptcy, so the film maker had to put it up on Vimeo to have any income off it, whereas all the other viewings of it gets funneled to the bankruptcy court. So that's
Would I be allowed to watch it on stream? Would I get in trouble for that? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. If you do, you owe me and him a couple bucks, but that's cool. We're cool
Sure.
like that.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Or theoretically, I mean, obviously there's no quid pro quo or anything like that.
Yeah, of course.
But
So
it's a great documentary. It makes me look a little bit like a folk hero, but that comes with the territory, I guess.
oh, absolutely. So I wanted to ask you very quickly what are your current thoughts on both the political climate in the United States and I guess the actual climate because things are a little wild on both fronts to say the least.
Absolutely. Frightening, exciting, um, terrifying. These are some words that come to mind in regards to those two particular events. For sure, we find ourselves in a place that it seems as if though anything could happen on both fronts. It always seemed like it was sort of this race going on between the clamp down and the collapse of the environment and things like that, and who was going to win. And it seemed like the man-made portion of the clampdown was planning and plotting for the responses of societal breakdown and collapse. And quite personally, I think we've all been like warning of it for years and seen it coming. But to see it actually come to pass one step after the next, in both cases, in fact, I must say it's obviously a little concerning, to put it mildly. And how about you?
Yeah, I think I would reiterate all of your points. I feel the same fears. But I think we're both on the same page. It's nice to laugh about it because otherwise, what else is there, right?
Yes, it's true. I have found over the years that humor and laughter can indeed dispel fear, because fear is indeed, and inducing fear is a weapon that the police use in the uh, crowd control environs, and it's certainly another means of control by the powers that be through the media and all the new media and the crazy internet media sphere that has developed, where a lot of fear mongering takes place. And yeah, I mean,
How have you felt that you've kind of I guess grown into that new media as well? Because like you're a bit of a viral sensation yourself.
True. There are those who have said that I was ahead of my time, and in
Hmm.
a sense, that's what was true perhaps for a while, where I was utilizing all these satirical elements of the ponies and the zombies and the toothbrushing laws to really critique, these larger things, and took many years just to get a little bit of traction, and so, to get past the editors of the various medias and such. And then, of course, yes, it did go viral and become a meme in 2012. So that was some sort of breakthrough, I suppose.
How
In
long had
terms,
you been doing what you were doing before they discovered you?
I ran for mayor of Baltimore, Maryland in 1987. It was strictly a lark. It was not particularly political. It was more of a social project for something to do that I thought would be interesting, and it was definitely going to be for the laughs. And I committed to that, and then ended up on a whole nother trail. Great Peace March for global nuclear disarmament rolled through Baltimore, and I joined that. Met a bunch of anarchists and joined a anarchist collective called the Seeds of Peace that was providing logistical support to various anti-nuclear peace marches. Met my wife, started traveling out to the Nevada nuclear test site, learning peacekeeping and skills and nonviolent direct action trainings and things like that. And we started traveling the country, Cape Canaveral, where they're testing the Trident D5 missiles. And we just started doing this circuit. We were on the road for 3 years doing that before we finally ended up back here where we are to this day. And learning skills. Started attending the rainbow gatherings. Are you familiar with the rainbow gatherings?
Are those like localized communes where they produce a lot of their own food?
Not at all. Well, I suppose
Okay.
there may be. I suppose there may be, but the ones that I'm referring to are known as the Rainbow. Officially, the official title is the Rainbow Family of Living Light Gathering of the Tribes,
Okay.
and they are a free assembly event that has been occurring in the United States for very close to 50 years. It occurs in a different national forest every year, as decided the previous year. Imagine, if you will, several concentric circles of several thousand people in the middle of a giant meadow field in the woods. They are there for dinner. They all have their cups and their utensils and their bowls, because that is the tradition of the way it is.
Mhm.
And they're there for dinner. So they're sitting there facing each other, and all of a sudden, out of the woods, from the tree line, from up to 100 different kitchens that operate at these events, and they're somewhere between Gilligan's Island and the Flintstones in a way. And people come down, all these raggedy ass hippies come down with 5-gallon buckets of food and start distributing it. And not everybody gets everything, but everybody gets a several course meal. And maybe sometimes somebody gets there late and doesn't get any food, but they'll pick up some later at a kitchen, or there's a lesson to be learned. But also during that time, the town criers get to work, and they go around and start making announcements and telling people public safety issues, parking issues, starting to tell people about the entertainment of the night, where the drum circles are, where the talent shows will be, where the poetry readings might be, where the workshops are going to be the next day. And also at this time, dinner time, the magic hat goes around. And because it's a non-commercial event, you can't buy or spend anything. So it's not a cash economy. It's a gift economy. So the magic hat becomes this sort of spiritual money laundering, where people throw their money into the hat, and then that hat goes around, and it is counted by the banking council in the center. The total is announced. Anybody can join the banking council. It's a clear operation. It's a council. So the next day, all the kitchen council representatives from all the kitchens get together, and they talk about what they need and put out their shopping list to the supply council. Gets the money from the banking council, goes to town, brings it back, gets distributed to all the kitchens. They cook it up, prepare it, And it happens over and over again, every day for 10 days, sometimes up to 2 weeks. There is an incredible and amazing amount of infrastructure. There are miles of water lines from springs, potentially miles away, that provide water to the kitchens.
Wow.
And everything that needs to get done, whether it be chopping vegetables, collecting firewoods, tending the fire, building a stove, um, digging a shitter, providing security, is because there is a need to make such a gathering of 10 to 20,000 people in the woods, existing in a non-hierarchical, consensus, horizontally based framework. Um, and that's how it happens. And it happens.
It's like a 10-day functioning anarcho-communist society, basically.
Essentially, it is. I mean,
Wow.
it's definitely not sustainable, and I don't claim that it is. But just the mere fact that it happens as a temporary autonomous zone every year, not this year. This year was, everybody voluntarily just said they weren't going, postponed it to next year. There was still some sort of a minor gathering, but it was sort of a rogue and outlaw gathering, and there's no way to prevent people from assembling. But they definitely caused a bit of butthurt with the local tribes and what have you, which is unfortunate. And it's confrontational, indeed, with the U.S. Forest Service. Sometimes they have spent up to $1 million a year in a specific incident command team, which we refer to as the incident creation team. And so they'll, roll in just all these cops from all over and play all these training games for their people, on our people. And so that's always a very exciting element. So yes, back to my journey. This is at the Rainbow Gatherings. This is sort of where I learned a serious amount. I learned, the first several years because you can pretty much have the freedom to do and define and be what you care to be. I practiced my clowning skills, learned how to push the physical humor and doing stupid stuff and just to entertain people. My emceeing skills by hosting talent shows, helping facilitate big circles and things like that. And eventually I did, in fact, realize that the need for security was also very great because it's a big gathering. There's no barriers to entry. And so, anything can and does happen. And so we try and be ready for that. Let's see. What happened there?
Oh, I just lost your video.
Okay, thank you. I saw that.
Oh, you're back.
And so I started doing security. We refer to ourselves as Shante Sena, which I believe is just a full-on cultural appropriation from the Sanskrit, meaning peacekeeper or peace walker or peacemaker or something. And started bringing in the clowning skills into the crisis intervention skill set, because that's essentially, it's glorified camp counseling. Is what it is.
Well, I was going to ask, how does that work? Because you obviously want to avoid something like the hierarchies created by the state. You don't want enforcement. You don't want police, actual stuff of that nature. But you probably want to have something that keeps everyone safe at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so ideally, everybody is involved in providing security. If something happens and it's in a camp, then the camp should be able to deal with that. If it occurs within one of the kitchen collectives or collective kitchen groupings, ideally, it should be dealt with in camp. Sometimes there's inter-camp situations. One year in particular, the feds rolled in and took half our camp away in Michigan and caused a situation where people were crammed together, and not everybody is of the same culture, and so there's friction created. And ideally, we can take care of it amongst ourselves. If it's something egregious that occurs to an individual as a result of another individual, then we try and work with the individual to find some sort of satisfaction on their behalf, interfacing with the authorities if that is their choice, or offering them the support of a counsel to hear their grievance out and hear what the offender, quotation marks, has to say, and try and hash it out and figure shit out. And
it worked on that scale with that many people, like with 20,000?
Pardon?
Oh, I said, and it worked on that scale with that many people, like 20,000?
It has. I mean, bad stuff happens. There's not always resolutions, but we certainly attempt for restorative justice whenever possible. Yes, I think that would be Yeah, sure.
No, that's
We
really
try.
impressive.
We do our best, you know.
In terms of U.S. politics, what was it like stepping into that arena, especially like rising to the ranks you had? Like at
Well,
first, was it
once again,
always? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
well, that was part of it because I had run in for mayor of '87
Hmm.
and started working that into I guess the comedy routine, if you will.
Hmm.
And so I would work that into the protest zone and just sort of use that as an excuse to perform or talk to people. And also discovered that I could use it to de-escalate tense situations in police and riot world environments. Another skill where I picked up at Rainbow because one of our security details is to provide escorts to cops, not sexual escorts, of course, just physical escorts. And so I found myself walking and talking with half a dozen or a dozen cops from any type of jurisdiction, from federal to local, for 8-hour shifts. And trying to smooth things out, keep things chill between hippies and them, warn the hippies of their approach, and sort of joking with them, making fun of them, having fun of them, and propagandizing them, and trying to recontextualize what the hell they were experiencing and seeing. And so I was able to transfer those skills out into riot world, and then started attending the New Hampshire primary in '92. And of course, the New Hampshire primary is the small one of the smaller states in the nation, but it's the first in the nation primary, and as a result, it attracts interest from media from around the globe. So it's dense media environment. Every last candidate, of which there can be up to 20 from both sides on an open slate year, is there. They all have campaign headquarters. They all have campaign buses. They all have campaign staff. They all have campaign events, and they're all ping-ponging around the entire state right after Iowa caucus. And so there is a sweet 10 days there, or a week, where there is so much chaos and so much commotion that pretty much anybody with a little bit of creativity and a flash can harness it. And I just happened to discover this particular way to
Can you ask Vermin if
harness
he
it.
knows
And
Jeff Hull or
running
Spencer
for
McCull
president,
or what he
I mean,
thinks
yes, it's a
elsewhere, and
beautiful
the
thing. It's a
concept of divine
self-declarative
nonchalance
statement.
and similar art
Anybody can run for
movements?
president. All you have to say is, I'm so and so, I'm running for president. It becomes a fact. Nobody can prove you wrong. You don't have to file with the FEC. You don't have to get any votes. You don't have to get no money. But if you just tell a few people and are halfway serious about it, sure. And so there is that loophole, and it is just a snitch. And of course, up to 2,000 people do register with the FEC. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But nonetheless, because of the exceptionally quirky nature of my presentation and content, ponies, zombies, toothbrushing, boot on head, I was able to rise to the top to become an elder statesman of wingnuts, if you will, um, through sheer force of presentation and being so unusual by bringing this sort of Dada touch, a surreal, absurdist, not totally linear approach to messaging, which ultimately is what it all sort of boils down to. And yes, the boot is a magical device. It is simple, it is elegant, it is effective. It has allowed me to amplify my free speech exponentially. It has allowed me to communicate with literally millions of people and interface with media across the flat earth. And so it has been um, and of course, it was never intended as such. It was never, I didn't know that, but I know that now. And, and it has, I've just been very blessed and very lucky that so many people resonate with it. And, and I am honestly and have completely been a anarchist and an anti-authoritarian my entire career. So that has never changed. That has been consistent. I have, I would run with the red and the black in black bloc demos, not masked up, but just to run interference with my bullhorn if necessary and stuff. Um, And so I started to just build up this natural constituency between the rainbow gatherings and the political demonstrations, both of which, they have people from all across the country. I mean, they're national events. And so I guess just got to be very well known.
Do you think
And
at this point one aspect has started to influence the other? Have you seen that actually successfully moved into politics in real time?
well, obviously, this crazy reality show host has used it to great effect.
Yeah.
He found that magical formula that seemed to work. I always thought that I would be the first demagogue, but it just didn't work. Wasn't meant to be. Sure, there has been a slight tear in the time-space continuum, but rest assured that I do indeed have scientists working on it very hard, 24/7, in
Nice.
the past, in the present, and the future. And I do believe that they will heal this tear, and that we will return to a Vermin Supreme presidency eventually. Of course, I am working on contingency plans, as always. I think it's undeniable and arguable that this election year, I believe it's undeniable that I was closer to being the president than any other year. And that's just a
True.
fact, because
True.
it had gotten to a point where I had been running the satirical, facetious campaign for so long that I had achieved a level of notoriety and political capital and political goodwill that I was able to make a legitimate offer to the Libertarian Party
Hmm.
as to be my services as a candidate, and I was able to make that offer this year, and that's an amazing thing in and of itself, and the fact that I was able to take it so far as to garner over 20% of the and make it to the fourth round of the ballot. So those are, and I would never have seen that coming. If somebody had asked me 2 years ago, or told me that was going to happen 2 years, Vermin, you're going to be like so close to being the Libertarian Party nominee, I'd be like, I don't know, I don't see that. And I will say 4 years prior, when I did attend the Orlando convention, I did have it in my mind that my success would be if I were to be able to make the debate stage, because I felt that I could help make the debate go viral. And at that point, I still believed that it would be completely in character. But over the course of the year, I had to attempt to really make the sale that I indeed was the best choice of candidate. And I had an amazing amount of backing. We had an incredible campaign staff and volunteers from both the left and the right side of the party. And they all genuinely believe that this type of non-linear, absurdist messaging at this point in time would have done very well and come close to getting 5% of the general, possibly bring in a shit ton of young people to the party, and draw in a lot of new eyeballs, people who would not have given libertarianism a second look, albeit for my involvement in it. And so it was a very interesting year. I mean, it involved sort of becoming a real politician, a money-grubbing politician. I was able to raise, by begging, more money this past election year than I had spent or raised for my entire previous 30 years of campaigning combined.
Wow.
So there is that. I was on more primary ballots this go around. I won more primary ballots this go around. And it was just a whole new ball game. And especially, attending the state conventions was great, because I was able to convince people that I was not, because a lot of people would only know me as a meme, correct? I mean, it's like, oh, he's the guy with the glitter, and I've seen the picture of the boot, and they just for real didn't believe that I was the best look or best figurehead for their party, and I can't blame them either at all. Um, However, after laying out the strategy and the vision and the ideas and how it might look, more often than not, people would indeed agree with the assessment, and this was all I was trying to get them to agree with, the assessment that it was not inconceivable. And if they would admit that it was not inconceivable, I thought they're, halfway there. Sure.
Yeah. Was it hard trying to fit your anarchist beliefs into the paradigm of what is kind of like, I don't know, it's almost a strange term in America to be libertarian because it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge spectrum, and a lot of people use the term and just say they are, and God, they have some horrifying takes. Um, but ultimately, as a left, from the left anarchist tradition, cut my teeth on Kropotkin and Emma Goldman like that. Ultimately, I see it as mainly a difference in priorities, perhaps, or emphasis. And, during the campaign election year, I was certainly, full tilt making the Libertarian Party platform my own. Because even as a left anarchist, I look at it, I see it, and it's a status document. Yes, it acknowledges the state and has a preferences for this or that. But ultimately, the Libertarian Party is a party of anarchists and minarchists, united to attempt to dismantle the state. So that was consistent. The NAP itself, the non-aggression principle, consistent with my nonviolent trainings and understanding of nonviolent direct action, what have you, and everything else, more or less priorities. I mean, yes, I mean during some of these debates where I'd never had to present myself as a real candidate or a real idea, as a candidate or as presenting any ideas other than absurdity previously. And so I was like, serious vermin, hey, it's me, serious vermin. I'm this, at one point, early on, it was like, yes, we're going to have a prohibition on novelty headwear, which of course was aimed towards the boot, and Dan taxation is thefts, yellow taxation is theft hat. And it was like originally it was like, oh, I don't think so. Oh, no way. Oh, no, 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 no. And then after a little bit of thinking about it, I was like, okay, fine. Don't need the boot. Fine. I'm trying to make a sale here. I'm trying to get the opportunity to be able to wear the boot, on a national stage as the nominee. So in order to do that, I was more than happy to not wear the boot to help convince the potential delegates that I was that I wasn't my character, that I wasn't always on, that I wasn't always disruptive, that I was a very reasonable person with a reasonable offer on the table that I was trying to present. And it worked very well in person, and I believe if it were not for the COVID thing, we would have continued to pick up steam. But it was just it changed the dynamics, that's for sure. And the lack of the in-person convention definitely changed the dynamics. If we were whipping on the floor, I think we could have worked it pretty hard. But that's okay, because don't you fret, in a parallel time stream, yes, I am the LP nominee. In the meantime, we have Jo Jorgensen, and she is rocking it. She is out there. She is spreading liberty and the libertarian message, and she is on tour and on fire. And we have Spike Cohen, which, of course, indeed was my original VP pick, because he is such an amazing communicator of libertarian ideals and ideas. And he's an ANCAP, but he doesn't want to rip out your grandma's feeding tube. No, not at all. And so, and he was totally, and of course, he's a podcaster, and he's got this great sense of humor. So he's more than happy to play into the Vermin Supreme imaginary world for a bit. And he understood and believed also that, absurdism and nonlinear messaging was a very legitimate way to propel the brand and the message forward. And it is indeed a testament to his communication skills that the delegates, because indeed at the Libertarian Convention, we choose our candidates separately. They don't they're not a team, and so they chose Spike Cohen to be the VP candidate for the Libertarian Party, and he is on tour, and he is picking up all sorts of steam, and so it's great. It's very good.
Are you working on that aspect of the election at all? Are you going to be volunteering, or is it kind of just something separate from you?
Yeah, they have not reached out to me wholeheartedly. And they have not been seeking my services, I will say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Of course, it is true that Joe Jorgensen was indeed bit by a bat.
Mhm.
That was very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. Spike claimed to have been bitten by a giraffe, but apparently that was fake news. Apparently not true. But still, I wish him a speedy recovery. I'm definitely in touch with Spike, talking to Spike, just talking him through the whole campaign trail, helping him keep his wits about him, because of course it's a pretty intense thing. And of course, Joe at the top end of the ticket is catching all sorts of flack from every direction, pretty much, because because the libertarian message is one that upsets people from both sides of the aisle, different parts of it. And like I say, it is it's about priority. It's about prioritizing. I mean, in a lot of these debates, you might hear a candidate, starting to pontificate about day one, we are ending Social Security. We must, day number two, we are ending Medicare. Day number three, and it's like, okay, no, that's great. It is consistent ultimately with the platform of dismantling the government. Granted. And yes, and as an anarchist, I would agree that ultimately, yes, and we must end the FDA, we must end the CDC, but to normal people, that sounds a little bit extreme, unless you are ready to immediately present and pivot to the transitional vision that you have to bring us to that point where those particular items are not needed anymore. Which is consistent with my understanding as an anarchist that, in order to disengage ourselves from the government, we need to build up, our community structures and replacing what it is that they do or claim to do or attempt to do in a very inefficient and costly manner.
In the event they ever asked you to maybe take one of your policies and enact it, like if you're ever called upon to get the ponies for everyone policy or the dust, if they took it literal, would you actually go forward and try to enact it?
Once again, I think the closest thing going is probably the New Green Deal, quite frankly, right? I mean, wasn't the Free Ponies for All Americans the original New Green Deal for America?
That's right.
Wouldn't a pony-based economy really usher in a post-fossil fuel economy?
That's true.
I mean, it's so easy to like, I tell people, okay, you're driving down the highway, just picture for a minute, you're riding your pony cart. All the other cars around you are other pony carts. You're just clip-clopping along, maybe, top speed, 35 miles an hour, and it's okay. You're in no hurry. Things are slowed down, and because you don't have to worry about things because things aren't fossil-based.
That's true.
When you have universal pony ownership, ultimately, that's the basis of Ponynomics 101 is you will have your pony and you will have equity in your pony. So you'll have your pony, you'll have equity in your pony. And of course, once you have equity in your something, be it a pony or any other object, or imaginary object for that matter, you can borrow against it.
Okay.
And so you'll be able to borrow against the equity in your pony, and we will be creating a class of pony-based debt. Now, you know that debt is a very, very important part of the economy and the world economy and the nation's economy. And it pretty much is its own digital anti-currency in a way. It zips around, it zaps around. You can buy it, you can sell it. Nations hold great amounts of it as owed by other nations. And so, it's as, and, banks and Wall Street, I mean, they make so much money off speculation and debt. It's really an incredible thing when you think about it, the part it plays in our economy. So once we've established this pony-based debt, we are going to be bringing in the bestest and the brightest and the smartest of all the Ivy League financial schools and putting them to work, harnessing them, if you will, to create a class of incredibly dense, arcane, impossible to understand financial instruments that we will essentially flood the financial markets with in order to create a bubble a bubble in the economy, if you will, a giant, incredible pony-based debt bubble. Now, a bubble, as you understand, is an amazing, incredible thing at that time in an economy, as a rule, because it means that everybody's making money. I mean, when the economy's on fire, all pistons are firing. Wall Street is through the roof. People, people are working overtime. It's incredible. And unfortunately, sometimes these, well, okay, almost always, ultimately, these bubbles burst. But let me assure you this, that this particular pony-based debt bubble is going to be reinforced and steel belted and last forever.
I'm like, this is so much more well thought out of than like anything Trump has ever proposed from start to finish.
Thank you. You're very kind. Yes. And of course, so we got a lot going on. The Vermin Supreme Institute. You hear about that?
No. Tell me about that.
That's a thing. Oh,
okay.
that's totally a thing. What it is we have added. Well, once again, it's sort of an offshoot of the campaign. I mean, the campaign itself was such an amazing thing. We attracted such a wonderful group of people. And a chunk of us wanted to continue working this vision, this idea of promoting ideas through stupidity, if you will, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, of course.
And so we came up with this idea of the Vermin Supreme Institute. And what we have done is we have taken my name, Vermin Supreme, and we have added the word institute to it. And as you can imagine, that makes it a super, much more legitimate sounding thing.
Immediately, instantaneously.
I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, otherwise, it's okay. Vermin Supreme. They're two words. They sort of go together now. When it started to be my name, it really didn't necessarily make any sense necessarily put together. Best vermin, sure. But now it's the Vermin Supreme Institute, and so it has an incredible amount of gravitas now, and so we are super psyched about that.
Is there a website where people can join the institute?
Yes, there is. It's verminsupremeinstitute.org. The is not part of the name. The is implied. So, just because it's easier, you might refer to it as the Vermin Supreme Institute. But the name of the Vermin Supreme Institute is actually Vermin Supreme Institute. No, the.
Oh, okay. So Vermin Supreme Institute.
Now, also implied is the Vermin Supreme Institute of something. It could be that, but that's implied because we can do any number of doing business as. So we could be the Vermin Supreme Institute of something such and such. Literally something such and such. That could be our name, and we could be doing business as that. We're open like that. And for a brief period of time, we were debating the merits of calling it the Vermin Supreme Initiative, which I sort of like because it implies, action verb almost. Initiative. We're going to initiate things, and which we are, but we're going to institute them first. So we are going to institute initiatives. You see, we are 501c4 currently, which is one of those shady political organizations that can spend 50% of the resources up onto partisan things. It gives it there's no transparency whatsoever, but we might be a 501c because then after that you can have another committee underneath that is fairly opaque also.
To make up for it.
Yeah. And so let me read to you the Vermin Supreme Institute statement of purpose, if I may. And it is as follows. Our purpose is to inspire social evolution through the disruption of authoritarianism, to promote compassionate activism, and to spread knowledge of redacted history. Through the use of humor, direct action, and mutual aid, we uplift the disaffected, disenfranchised, not disenfranchised, disenfranchised and disempowered.
Both are adequate. I'd say they're interchangeable, really.
Yes. And that is our statement of purpose. Just those two sentences. It was, I was interested in arriving at those two sentences, really, because we got I don't know, half a dozen people on the council, and it was discussing the various merits at various points. But I wanted it to be generic enough so that we were able to fulfill what it was that we were hoping to achieve. Didn't want to get too specific off the bat, and ultimately that is comes under the heading of the initiatives themselves. Because the institutes initiatives, and we are looking or happy and willing to partner with various initiatives, people with ideas, and consolidate our resources. Also, in the Vermin Supreme Institute, we are working with and folding into Disrupt the Vote, which was a initiative put together by our team to support non-duopoly candidates who met our criterion, and offering them various resources at our media lists and things of that nature. So I guess that's slightly the partisan thing. We also have Chris Rogers is working on a Beautiful People project, which is sort of a feel-good showcasing of various activists, community activists doing beautiful things in their community along the lines of mutual aid and stuff. So that's good. Aaron Goss is trying to keep up with tidbits of history, but for the time being, I'm going to be trying to fold in this day in Vermin Supreme history and what have you. We'll be padding that part out soon. We're starting out slow, but I think we got some good ideas, and I think we got some things we can build on, and just the part that we can, consider initiatives, and if something makes sense, if that's a task that we believe that we can muster up the people to make that happen, then yes. If we can find, an organization that is doing something similar to that, what we might like to do, perhaps we can partner and help steer people and volunteers in that direction. I know in the fall we're going to try engage in, the standard food drive and gift drive type of activities, and we're going to try and find out, do some research and offer people different places to funnel that type of thing. But we don't want to reinvent the wheel necessarily. But what we have to offer as an institute is that secret vermin sauce. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it'll be a little bit of Vermin Supreme wise quipping and wisecracking, which was sort of a decent formula that I discovered on the campaign trail during the debates. I had to really find the proper balance of really silly and serious. That was just such a new type of experience for me, that year of campaigning. And
with those secret vermin spices.
Yes. And I found that, as a good solid quip or a joke, or something that I had prepared or popped into my head, and then pivoting back to the Libertarian Party platform, essentially, because that's what I was pimping, that's what I was repping. And so ultimately I have a little bit of freedom in the current environment as a non-candidate, or a pretend candidate. Essentially it works like this: when I stopped being a real candidate for the Libertarian Party nomination, because seeking that party nomination was indeed a very specific goal in the moment that the time stream split there, I reverted to being a pretend character-driven candidate. And so I'm now pretending that I'm seeking the Republican nomination and pretending that I'm seeking the Democratic nomination. And that allows me to still fiddle around with my 527 campaign fund organization.
No, that's fantastic.
So there is that's sort of fun. And I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to try and buy that. Apparently Bill Weld has a single delegate, and I'm going to see if he might sell that delegate to me.
Nice. Delegates for
or,
sale.
or trade me for a political favor, but I don't know what I have to offer on that front currently. So yeah, it's been a very exciting year.
That's wild. I was wondering, Vermin, is it okay if I ask you just a couple questions from the audience? I know I've had you for a while, but I've had a lot of questions posed to me.
Okay, I just want to tease you. With because we are starting to put out a little bit of video content, and I am working with a intergalactic space alien who has run for office in the past. That's all I can say.
Oh my!
It's very, very exciting for me.
Is he a regal individual? Can we say that much?
I believe that he does have a title.
He has a title.
Clear whether he sees that title in some sort of intergalactic shenanigans or somehow was knighted by the Queen. I'm not completely clear on that. I may have said too much.
Or the Space Queen.
Or the Space Queen. If you were, did you pay any attention to the New Hampshire primary this year?
I did, yes.
Yes, and then you probably also have a clue.
I have a slight suspicion, but I won't reveal it on air. We'll keep it a surprise.
All right. We'll keep it an exciting little mystery for a little bit. All right.
One of the most.
I wish.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I know it's.
You're like, I've said too much.
I cannot say more. I say my lips are sealed. Asking the question for the audience.
Okay, the most frequent question I've been asked is, "Are you naked right now, sir?"
Well, I do have a necktie on.
That counts.
I am wearing a rubber boot on my head. And I do have shoes on.
Nice. That's good. That's good because we're not allowed to show feet. Oh wait, no. You're gonna.
Now my running mate Spike got a lot of flack for Nipplegate. Did you hear that?
I have not heard about Nipplegate.
Yeah, because he and I also were in the Libertarian Dad Bod calendar, which was a thing that we did. Actually, I'm Mr. October, still coming up. And he was Mr. April, I believe. And he had a shot of his bathing beauty shot, sort of lying back in the beach and the waves crashing over him, looking very, I don't know, orgasmic maybe, or beatified or something. And some people took offense to that and he caught some flack for, and it was called Nipplegate. And he's caught a little bit of flack for his association with me for some reason.
Whoa!
What? No, it's tasteful. It's tasteful. No. It's we're keeping this PG-13. Okay.
Oh wow. No, that's fine. I'm just worried about Twitch shutting us down.
No. If this is a Rainbow Gathering, sure. I mean, it would be funny and stuff, but it's okay.
That was very skilled. I will give you that. That was very, very well done.
Thank you. It was a real answer to a real question.
It was a genuine answer. It was a genuine answer to a genuine question. The next question that I had was, who are you voting for in the upcoming election?
Well, let me say there are several. There's one fine candidate on the ballot, and I'm leaning towards supporting the Libertarian Party because that is extremely politically expedient to be able to say so. Mm-hmm. And support the candidacy of Joe Jorgensen and Spike Cohen for America.
All right.
For America. I mean, it's pretty funny because, like I say, she has got so much shit from the left and right. And I better her than me, quite frankly, because if I was that candidate, I would have been pretty damn funnier and more and some but I still caught all that flack.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. Someone else is asking, have you heard or seen the Cardi B song WAP? And if so, do you have thoughts on it?
Yes. My name is Vermin. I like a pony. And if you don't like it, well, you can blow me. I braid her mane. I can't complain. The way that pony treats me, she's driving me insane. I have a pony. I ride my pony hard. I ride my pony all around the yard. I have a pony. My pony likes to buck. Me and my pony. My pony likes to ride around the town, ride around the town, ride around the town. Gonna ride my pony to the hotel pool. Yeah, gonna see her swim. I'm gonna ride my pony to my hotel room. Yeah, I'm gonna let her in. My pony's in the sun, son. My pony's having fun, son. Ponies like to run, son. Phaser set on stun, yeah. Everybody wants a pony. Everybody gets a pony. Everybody wants a pony. Everybody gets a pony. Thank you.
That is unquestionably the best answer to anything I've ever asked anybody in history. And I think that will forever be the greatest response I've had to anything. Oh, man. Vermin, I cannot thank you enough for this experience. I don't even want to ask a follow-up question. That was the greatest answer to anything that's ever happened.
Okay, well, it's all right here in my book.
Vermin Supreme.
I Pony, Blueprint for a New America. It is a book about the future.
Where can people find your book?
Long after a Vermin Supreme presidency. Long after when everybody gets their pony. After zombie power fuels the nation and secret dental police have set up checkpoints every couple hundred yards. It is a warning from the people of the future to you, the people of your present, their past, that Vermin Supreme is a madman and must be stopped.
And where can they find copies of this book? Everywhere books are sold?
It's available at iPonythebook.com. And it's got all sorts of crazy artwork in here.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh, yes. That is drawn. Oh, jeez. I'm blanking on it. We're having a Joe Biden moment there on the art. Oh, jeez.
More ponies, more poop.
And it's got, let's see. And there is that extremely notorious chapter that involves the pony erotica, which is just an amazing. It's the prologue, and it really sets the tone of things. It's very tastefully done as far as interspecies romance stories for older teens goes. Sorry, my bad. I tell parents it's really not suitable for their children. There's certain chapters or segments you could, paragraphs you could skip, and it's a fine story for everybody. You don't have a censored version, no. There is no censored version currently.
Oh, that's unreal. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are excited for it now.
It's not gratuitous. It's tasteful. It's very tasteful. Yes, tastefully done. Thank you.
Absolutely tastefully done.
And VerminSupreme2020.com is still a thing, because once again I've reverted to because Vermin Supreme is my name, and 2020 is still this year.
That makes perfect sense.
Once again, I want to make it clear I'm not actively campaigning. During the campaign trail, during the debates, people ask me, Vermin, are you running as an independent? against the Libertarian nominee if it's not you? And I said no, and I pledged not to, and I'm keeping that pledge. Although, once again, I've reverted to being a pretend candidate. So pretending to seek the nomination, because people like that, and it gives me excuse to be a little goofy and stuff. Mm-hmm. and fiddle around with my 527 still running for president. Oh, shit. So that's exciting and fun for sure.
And people, where can they find you on social media? Everywhere social media is sold.
Let's see, TikTok, which is going to be gone real soon. It sounds like.
Yeah.
You can see, I'm going to produce a blurry of content this weekend and put it up there, including how to make corn darts. I don't know if you ever cook corn this summer, and you cook it on the grill, or some other way where you don't husk it before you eat it. You cook it in the husk, mm-hmm. and then you peel back the husk, but you don't remove the husk, and then you eat the corn. And what you have is literally, it's an aerodynamic corn dart. Can you see it?
And it sounds incredible.
Yeah. So that I think that'll go viral on TikTok for sure.
Oh, definitely.
So on TikTok, I am the real Vermin Supreme.
And Twitter too, right?
On Twitter, on Twitter, I got on early. I got on the ground floor at Vermin Supreme.
Oh, nice.
But no blue check mark. No check mark. And a lot of people use my name, but I'm obviously the only real one, because I say I trademark. I have a service trademark, for goodness sake. It says so in my title. On Facebook, I'm Vermin Supreme for President, blue check mark.
Nice.
Or Vermin Supreme, which is my homepage, and I don't know. Get a lot of cranky people. I don't know. You get those a lot of right brigade coming over saying stupid shit. So that's mildly annoying. I've been blocking a few more people than I normally used to, just because they're so obnoxious. So come on down and say things to these people if you want. Instagram, I believe, is Vermin Supreme for President, and Vermin Supreme for 2020, I think, is another one. We have the podcast called Let This Podcast Run Your Life, which is another spin-off of the group of people that were working together on my campaign, and that is definitely worth a listen.
To our God, I'm Ra. We pray at your altar of awesomeness. To our monarch, Thomas Bone, you are the light that guides our path. To our lords, Jeffrey Lamb, Stephen, Nine Tails Cosmic Fox, Hans Josephine, and Poppy Nelson, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our knights of the round table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Byte, Alexander Thaler, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Chutzkoff, Sky Bear Games, Moss Beast, Political Puppy, Ali Menthol, Jimmy Big Nuts, Alan R., Andreas Chitoro, Good Boon Hates Cops, That's Solid Boon Man, and Bryn, we salute you. And to our many merchants and farmers, you have our undying love